6ix9ine's been getting out there. Basically, this is what I think. I think 6ix9ine is, he needs money. I think he lost a lot of money. I think there's been several lawsuits and various things. So I think 6ix9ine needs some money. And so he's been, basically chasing greatness again because that money tends to follow. So he's been going viral on the charts. He's been doing everything. He did the Vlad TV interview. Then he did the Vlad TV interview again. Now we're seeing more Vlad TV interviews. He's doing 20 versus 1s. He's on with kind of basically whoever will have him. He's been streaming and stuff, which has been interesting. As someone, I think, pointed out, I saw that he was built for streaming. He is a very affable and an entertaining streamer. Yeah, he did a thing with Trap Lore. He's doing a lot of things. I think he's doing a thing right now where he's just like, I'm not saying no to anybody. And, classic 6ix9ine fashion, he's going viral. It's kind of his thing. He knows how to do it. He understands spectacle. He understands theater. He understands how to make you pay some attention. I say some because you're obviously going to skip it when he starts talking facts. But he understands how to get you to click. He understands how to get you to watch. He understands how to get you to comment. He understands those things. So we've been covering 6ix9ine on some of the Snap and YouTube episodes. And, there's an overwhelming amount of hate for 6ix9ine. Overwhelming. 6ix9ine's haters are legion, and they're loud, and they have a lot to say. I'll just go through some of the comments here. I had a video about how I don't understand why you would ever be mad at 6ix9ine for snitching specifically if you are not in a gang. That if you are not in a gang is a very important parameter there. Because if you're in a gang, then obviously I get why you don't. Like, that's your code of ethics. That's your code of ethics if you're in a gang. But if you're not in a gang and that's not your code of ethics, then I don't understand why you would give a flying fudge. I'm trying to swear less. I don't understand why you would care if you're not in a gang, because that's not your value system. That's not your value system. Unless it is your value system, even though you're not in a gang, in which case you're kind of a loser, dude. You're kind of a poser. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about the general idea of a person who's being not in a gang, but having a gang value system. I'll even give you a little bit of an olive branch. If you're not in a gang, but you're trying to be in a gang, all right, I get it. Adopt their value system because you have to dress for the job that you want, right? So even if you're not in a gang, but you're doing tryouts, you're pledging, I don't know. What's it called? I don't know. As long as if you're doing those things, if you're trying for the gang, have their value system. I get it. But if you're not in a gang and you have no intention of being in a gang and it's not on the horizon for you, but you have their value system and you're like, fuck him for snitching, then you are a loser. How could you be anything else if you're not in a gang? Anyway, I said that. Some people got mad. Here's some of the comments. Weenies and white boys, OP and 6ix9ine. So if we follow the mathematical order of things, I'm the weenie and 6ix9ine is the white boy? No, he's not. I don't know. He's not white at all, aside from his skin color. But, maybe both of us are both of these things. Anyway, weenies and white boys, OP and 6ix9ine, can't stomach reality or accountability for their actions, just like females. He's doing a podcast, meeting me. He's doing a podcast to trumpet the value of a female or posers who cosplay like know what happens in the street. No, actually. I'm literally doing the opposite. I'm saying I'm self-admitting that I don't know what happens in the street. And what I'm saying is that if you also don't know what happens in the street, but you care, like you act like you care, like you act like it's really important to you that people don't snitch, but you're not street yourself. You're not in a gang. You're not trying to be in a gang. You're just a consumer of music like me, like Mr. Cornball over here, which I don't mind I don't mind this because I self-admit this title. Ball of corn. I like that. I self-admit to being a cornball. I self-admit to being a goofy, right? I'm not like a cool gang guy. I'm not out here pretending to be a cool gang guy. You know how corny it would be? How extra corny it would be? If I were like, yeah, fuck him, dude. He's in a gang and he snitched. Why does it fall on the average consumer to hold him accountable to a set of values they don't even believe in? I don't even believe in the values that they ascribe to. I don't think they should be in gangs. I don't think that things that gangs do are good. I understand that, where they're at, they've been doing it for years and they've been in gangs for years and gang is just what they know and it might be hard to break that cycle. But I still think it's bad. I still think it's bad to be in a gang. I think that like, so if I disagree with those values, why would I give a shit that he snitched? Why would anyone? Why would I hold him accountable to a set of values that I don't even hold? Let's look at some of the other ones. No one is mad at 6ix9ine for snitching. They're mad that he clearly was involved in F shit. He clearly snitched to get out of it, and then he pretended like he was never involved with any of the F shit. I don't know. As the average consumer, again, why would you care? And let me just preface this, by the way. I should have done this at the start. I'm not a fan or a hater of 6ix9ine. I'm neither, okay? I don't have a hard opinion on the guy one way or another. He just happens to be something you have to engage with him as an idea because he goes viral a lot, you know? See how y'all blur the lines. No, that's not the rule. If you yourself choose to commit a criminal act or be a part of a criminal act, you yourself must take responsibility as a man. You made the choice when you have the choice to walk a straight line. So I kind of see what some of these guys are saying. I think the overall idea seems to be that it's not so much that he's a snitch per se. Maybe what they're saying is that it's not so much that he's a snitch, but more that he ascribed to a value system and then he betrayed that value system. So you don't respect that he betrayed his own value system. And I can see that point to an extent. It's just that, man, it's such a shitty value system. The idea that gangbangers walk a straight line or, you know, there's this very specific code of ethics that they stick to where there is a level of morality. I mean, these are people who shoot, kill, maim innocent people, okay? That happens. The idea that, like, they stick to this code of ethics where they only kill their ops and they don't talk to the cops and they don't do it's this... the idea of this moral gangster, like, I don't really see that in practice, okay? I wouldn't idolize any of these guys. I wouldn't idolize any of these rappers. I wouldn't idolize any of these criminals. At the end of the day, none of them are people that you should be like, that's where I'm going to get my code of ethics. And I think that's the problems. I think that a lot of you take your cues from celebrities, gangster celebrities. It makes no sense. Like, forget the gangster part, but the celebrity part. You know, once they become larger than life, once they have a ton of money, what makes you think they're gonna become more moral? What makes you think that these are gonna become like good people to follow? No, enjoy their music, find them funny, be whatever, but don't start to be like, well, 6ix9ine's a snitch. He's the worst, and everybody else is, and other people are good. No, they're all kind of shitty. They're all shitty. Now, me personally, again, I'm not a fan or a hater. Some of his music's good. Some of it's kind of gay, but the ladies like those songs, so I get why he makes it. You know, he's a marketer at the end of the day. He makes songs for the boys and songs for the girls. Fine. But he's funny, he's entertaining, which is plus points. I can't get past the Chomo shit, though. For me, personally. Can't get past the Chomo shit. It's bad. And I don't even think, like, that's what he likes. I don't think he's an EDP 445. I don't think he likes meaners. I don't think that's his taste. If you look at the women he likes, they're all very voluptuous, right? They have fully developed, in fact, extra developed racks and booties. The surgeon, he likes, you know, he likes surgically enhanced women that are not grown naturally. Due to the voluptuous nature of his taste, I don't think that, at least, you know, in his mind, he is a meaner lover. He's a pedo. I don't think he is that. However, he still did it. He still walked into a room and I think he grabbed a meaner and on a music video or an Instagram clip. His whole defense was, I put that up myself. That was his defense. I put that up myself. If I had known that she was a meaner, that I was doing a crime, do you think I would have put that up? And the answer is no. It's unlikely you would have put it up if you knew. There's a couple things to that. Number one, she was 13. That is on the lower end of meaners. So number one, I don't know what drugs you were doing or what, but you should have known that, you know, it's not like you can claim that you couldn't tell, like it was hard to tell. And second of all, you were keeping company with these creeps. Like that to some extent, that falls on you to be careful about the company you keep. But again, these are not good people. They hang out with morally bankrupt other criminals. okay? So the idea that there are these moral criminals, the ones that snitch and the ones that don't snitch are somehow more moral? No, dude. Because I believe, even in the world of criminals, I believe that chomo shit is pretty frowned upon. So if that's the case, it should be worse than the snitch stuff. You should care about that more than the snitch stuff. And if that's what you care about, and that's the reason that you don't like 6ix9ine or you won't listen to his music or whatever, I get that. For more big news for the unemployed, subscribe.